In this lesson, we will discuss normal distributions. So before going to start, I will explain to you few terms which we will use in this lesson. The first is called the variables. Right? Variable is the attribute or characteristics that can have different values. The name indicates, see, variable. So it means that it assumes different values and different letters. Suppose X, Y, Z or A, B, C, S, T, whatever letter you want, you can use to represent the variables, right? And then variables are divided into two categories. One is called the quantitative variable. On the other hand, the other one is called the qualitative variable. So quantitative, see, again the name indicates quantity. If we count or if we measure the variable, it is called the quantitative variable. Just like the numerical value, if I will say 768, right? We can count. Height, the height of a woman is suppose 5 feet and 4 inches. Weight 23 kg, temperature 20 degrees C, etc. So if we count, if we measured, both, right, are included in the quantitative categories of the variables. Qualitative, distinct categories according to some attribute, just like gender, male and female, religious, geographic location, etc. So quantitative variable, as I told you, that quantitative variables we can count and measure. So this quantitative is divided again into two categories. If we count the variable, it is called discrete variable. If we measure the variable, it is called continuous variable. Now this is the difference. First, variable is divided into two categories, quantitative and qualitative. Then quantitative is divided into two categories, discrete or continuous. Discrete is countable, such as if I say 16, a number 500, or the pages of book, you can say 500. This book has 500 pages, this book has 400, and so on. We can count. Money is spent online during the year. It is a small amount of money, so you can count it. These are the examples of discrete, while continuous. But in this lesson, we will learn continuous, normal continuous distributions. In the last lecture, we have discussed discrete, but in this lesson, we will focus on the continuous variable. So continuous variable can be a decimal or a fraction. If I will say 4 over 5, it is a fraction, so it will come in the category of continuous variable. 3.14, which is the value of pi. In fraction, you will write down 22 over 7. This is the value of pi. Fraction, suppose decimal 6.58 or any number 32.862. Right? Weight of the suitcase, speed of the wind we measure, we cannot count. So these are the examples of a continuous variable. And the important point is, in continuous variable there is no gap, there is no hole. That is why we will consider the decimal and the fraction as well. Now what is the meaning of this, that there is no gap? In the discrete variable, suppose if our data is 1 to 4, our next range is from 5 to 8, and then next range is from 9 to 12. If suppose if I will say 4.5, the data value is 4.5, so where you will write down 4.5, see it ends at 4, the next one is starts from 5. So that is why in the continuous there is no gap. If it is 4 1 to 4, right, the other will start from 4.1 to so on, right? If it is 4.5, then it will come to this range. Again it will start from 8.1. So there is no gap in the continuous variable. Now, the topic is normal distributions. In probability theory, the normal distribution is a very common continuous. See, continuous probability distribution. I told you our focus will be on continuous. So continuous probability distribution. Continuous means the important feature of the continuous is there is no gap. If I will make the bell-shaped curve, this is called the bell-shaped curve. Bell-shaped curve means the data is equally divided. This is our mean. This is the center line, average on both side of the data. This is, sorry, average. This is average. Suppose this one, this is the right side, this is the left side. So here and here data is equally divided. If we have a 100 values, 50 will come here, 50 will come here. This is called the normal distributions. Many continuous variables, continuous, see again where there is no gap, the values are in decimal and the fraction as well, have distributions that are bell shaped. This is the bell shaped and are called approximately normally distributed, right? Not always 100% both sides are equal. Suppose if it is 50, maybe it will be 48 or 49%. So it is called approximately normally distributed variables. The theoretical value means the theoretical curve is the calculated or measured curve called the bell curve. This is the bell curve or the Gaussian distribution. This is also called the Gaussian distribution. Gaussian was the German mathematician. So this curve, right, Gaussian curve or bell curve can be used to study many variables that are not normally distributed but are approximately normally distributed, right? Here again I will explain you what is the meaning of this line. This is the bell curve or Gaussian distribution. This bell curve we can use to study many variables. Variables means, suppose if we are considering the ages of a woman, right? So we have 100 women and then we are write down the ages and then we will make the curve. So we will find out whether it is equally distributed on both sides or not. Or you can say the height of the women, or you can say the patients, right? So these are the variables. Patients, diabetic patients, suppose, and then we are measuring their sugar level, insulin level. We will distribute the data on both sides and then we will find out whether our data is normally distributed or approximately normally distributed, right? So this slide I think is clear that in many continuous variable have distributions that are bell shaped. So this is the bell shape. Here I have made an example for you. So in this line, this center line represents the mean. So this is the right side of the mean, this is the left side of the mean, and you can say that from here on the top it is symmetric. It means the data values are equally divided on both sides. Suppose if the data is 50% here, so approximately 50% on the right side. If a random variable has a probability distribution whose graph is continuous, this is the continuous graph, bell-shaped graph or Gaussian graph, right? And symmetric, it is called normal distribution. The graph is called the normal distribution curve. So this is the normal distribution curve. In normal distribution, I told you this central line represents the mean. If the data is approximately normally distributed or normally distributed, its mean is same, mu and mode all lies at the center. So mathematical equation for normal distribution, right? Again, if you want to see that whether the data are equally, suppose we have different values, we have 10, 30, 39, 40, 50 different data values, and then you want to find out whether this is normally distributed or approximately normally distributed on both sides of the mean, then you have to use this formula. And this is y is equal to e raised to power or exponent minus in parenthesis x minus mu whole square divided by 2 sigma square divided by sigma and then the square root of 2 pi. See, the value of this e is 2.718, pi is 3.14 in decimal or in fraction 22/7. This mu is the population mean and this one sigma is the population standard deviations. So for you have to find out all these mean and then standard deviations of your data, and then you have to put all these values in this tedious formula in order to find out whether the data is normally distributed or not. So in statistics, it is tedious, it is time consuming. That is why we will use tables or technology in order to find out whether our data is normally distributed or not. But you should know that this is the mathematical equation for the normal distribution. Here we are not going to use this formula. Okay, now the shape. See, this is very important point. This is the shape of the bell curve. Sometimes you will see these kind of bell curve, right? So the shape and position of the normal distribution curve depends on two parameters. One is the mean, second one is the standard deviation, and this is a very important 2 points, that shape and position of this bell shaped curve or normal distribution curve or Gaussian curve depends on mean and standard deviations. So same these lines I have written in a different way. Each normal distributed variables has its own normal distribution curve, right? Normally distributed variables. Suppose if we are finding the age or height of the women, this is the variable. This variable has its own normal distribution curve, where suppose there are 5 or 6 women, and then we will write down their heights and we make the average, right, which is called the mean. Then we will find out the standard deviation. So each variable has its own normal distribution curve. Then we will find out the shape and position of the curve of the women ages or heights, which depends on mean and standard deviations. So these are 2 points, mean and standard deviation, and very important thing. Here I have made the example for you. Suppose these are two bell distributions, bell shaped graph. One is the black one, this line is the black one, other I have made the red one for you. And this line represents, I told you, this is the mean. The center line represents the mean. Suppose both the curve has the same mean. I have extended till here. Both have the same means. Mu is equal to 0. Mu represents the mean. In both bell-shaped graphs, suppose mean is equal to 0. And for this red one, this one, sigma represents the standard deviations. Suppose the standard deviations of the red one is 1 and the standard deviation for this black curve is equal to 2. Right? So these are two curves in which mean is same but the standard deviations are different. And I told you here that shape and position of the normal distribution curve depends on mean and standard deviations. So if the mean are same and standard deviations are different, so what you will conclude, as the standard deviation increases, see here, if the standard deviation is 1, you will see this curve is like this. It shows when the value of the standard deviation increases, the shape of the curve spreads. See, this is spread. If it is 1, if the standard deviation is 1, the shape of the graph is like this. When the 2, it spreads, right? And this is the mean. This is the case when the mean is same. When the mean of the two curves are same and the standard deviation increases, the shape of the curve spreads. Another example, here we have different standard deviations. The standard deviations are 2, but mean is different. In this case, mean is 0. In the second is mean is 2. Shape will remain the same, but the curve which has more mean, this is 2, it moves 2 units to the right. Here it moves to the 2 unit right. So one more time, that shape and position of the normal distribution curve depends on the mean and standard deviations. If the means are same and the standard deviation increases, the shape of the curve spreads. In the second case, the standard deviations are same, but the mean increases. So see, the shapes will remain the same, but this one in which the mu increases or mean increases, it moves 2 units right. And here are some properties of the normal distributions. Again, normal distribution, this is the normal distribution. The data are equally divided on both sides of the mean. So the normal distribution curve is bell shaped. This one. These are bell shaped. This is called the normal distribution. Data is divided both sides of the mean equally. This is the first property. Second property is, see, this is the mean. If the data is equally distributed on both sides, it means mean, median, and mode. They all are same. If suppose mean is 10, median is also 10, and mode is also 10. Median is the center value, mode the number which occurs more frequently. If the mean is suppose 15, the median will be 15 and the mode will be 15. This is the second property. This is the second property of the normal distribution. The mean, median, and mode are equal and located at the center of the distribution. This one. This is the center of the distribution. And this is the unimodal. Unimode means only one mode. There is one figure or one amount which comes, one number which comes more frequently. It is called the unimode. This is the third property. Fourth is the curve is symmetrical about the mean. Now what does it mean? See, this is the mean. This is the mean. So it is both sides, it is same. Both sides it is same. Symmetric, equal. Data is divided equally on both sides. So curve is symmetrical about the mean, which is the equivalent to saying it is shaped in same on both sides of the vertical line. Next is the curve is continuous, means there is no gap. For each value of x, there is the value of y as well. So there is no gap. The curve never, this is the very, very important point. This curve never touches this x-axis, right? Suppose if it will extend like this in this direction, or maybe it will extend to the right hand side, it will close to the x-axis, but it will never touch to the x-axis. This is the most important point. The curve never touches the x-axis. And the total area under this curve is 100%, or 1 or 100%. In terms of percentage, you can say this area under the curve is 100%. The area under the normal curve that lies within one standard deviation, see now, here this is the mu is equal to 0. On the right side we have 1, 2, and 3. Similarly, on the left hand side we have -1, -2, and -3. So these are the standard deviations. We will say, right, this is, if we have a 1 standard deviations, it means data is 1 mu plus 1, right? Here is mu minus 1. So 1 standard deviation above or below the mean. If it is 2, we will say the standard deviation is 2 above or below the mean. From this range, if it is 1, so approximately 68.3% data is distributed if the standard deviation is 1. If the standard deviation is 2, so 95% data will distribute between two standard deviations. So I will show you here with the help of this graph. I have made this bell shaped graph. This is the mean. It lies in the center. This is approximately normally distributed. So it means the mean, median, and mode lies here. This vertical lines. And see, it is symmetric on both sides. It means data is equally divided. This is called the standard deviations 1 and -1. It means 1 above or below the mean. 34.1% data lies here, 34.1% data lies here. Total is 68.3%. If the standard deviation is 1 or -1, it means 68.3% data lies Here, if the standard deviation is 2, then 95.4% data lies. If it's 3, then 99.7% data lies, and then so on. So total is 100%. Area under this curve is 100%. Right here I have made another graph to show you the skewness. When the majority of the data value falls to the left or right of the mean, see this one, this is the mean. If we will find out that the data is here on the right hand side, is you have more data here or you have more data on your left hand side, then this is called the skewness. How you will find out the skewness? So when the majority of the data values fall to the left or right of the mean, the distribution is said to be skewed, then it is called the skewed. So we have to find out the skewness, whether it is a negative skew or it is a right skewed. When the majority of the data falls to the right of the mean, see this is mean, this one, this is mean, and median is here, mode is here. If more data is here, then you will find out median is here, mode or is here. So we can say that median is on the right side of the mean, or we can say mean and median both are on the left side of the mode. Right, same thing I have mentioned here. The mean is to the left of the median, and the mean and median are to the left of the mode. Right, when the majority of the data values fall to the left of the mean, now this is the mean, this is, here is the median and here is the mode. If the too much data is here on the left side, then in center you will find out the median and then is mode. So we can say median and mean and median both are on the right side of the mode. But the important thing is the tail of this curve. See, this is the tail. The tail of the curve indicates the skewness. If it is on the left hand side, it means it is left skewed or negative skewed. If it is on the right hand side, it means it is right skewed or positive skewed skewness. Right, so in case of positive skewness, you have more data on the left hand side. In the negative skewness, you have more data on the right hand side. Same thing I have explained here. This is the positively skewed. See, more data is here, more data on the left hand side, and tail is on the right hand side, so it is positively skewed. In the negatively skewed, more data lies on the right hand side, but tail, I see here I have mentioned the tail of the curve. So this is the tail. Tail shows the skewness, so this is the negatively skewed. And this is symmetric. See, this is the center line, this is the mean. So both data is equally divided on both sides. It means mean, median and mode same are all lies at the center. If I will touch these line, you will see we will make the bell-shaped graph. So if it is a bell-shaped graph, it means data is equally distributed on both sides of the mean, and mean, median and mode lies at the center. But if it is a positively skewed, most data lies on the left hand side. This is right, and it is a right skewed here, and tail will show you the skewness. So I hope that you have learned in this lesson about the normal distribution. Normal distribution space data is equally divided on both sides. It is also called the approximately normally distributed. If you still have any question, you can write down in comment section, and thanks for watching.